During British summer time, civil time in the United Kingdom is advanced 1 hour forward of Greenwich Mean Time, so that evenings have more daylight and mornings have less. BST begins at 1 Greenwich Mean Time on the last Sunday of March and ends at 1 Greenwich Mean Time on the last Sunday of October. Since October 22, 1995, the times of commencement and cessation of daylight saving time across the European Union have been aligned. For instance, Central European summer time begins and ends on the same Sundays at exactly the same time. Between 1972 and 1995, BST began and ended at 2 Greenwich Mean Time and not on Easter Sunday. In 2014, BST began on 30 March and ends on 26 October. Instigation and early years. British summer time was first established by the Summertime Act 1916, after a campaign by builder William Willett. His original proposal was to move the clocks forward by 80 minutes, in 20-minute weekly steps on Sundays in April and by the reverse procedure in September. In 1916 BST began on May 21 and ended on October 1. Periods of deviation. In 1940, during the Second World War, the clocks in Britain were not put back by an hour at the end of summer time. In subsequent years, clocks continued to be advanced by 1 hour each spring and put back by an hour each autumn until July 1945. During these summers, therefore, Britain was 2 hours ahead of GMT and operating on British double summer time. The clocks were brought back in line with GMT at the end of summer in 1945. In 1947, due to severe fuel shortages, clocks were advanced by 1 hour on 2 occasions during the spring, and put back by 1 hour on 2 occasions during the autumn, meaning that Britain was back on BDST during that summer. An inquiry during the winter of 1959 Euro-60, in which 180 national organisations were consulted, revealed a slight preference for a change to all-year GMT +1, but the length of summer time was extended as a trial rather than the domestic use of Greenwich Mean Time abolished. A further inquiry during 1966 Euro-67 led the government of Harold Wilson to introduce the British Standard Time experiment, with Britain remaining on GMT +1 throughout the year. This took place between 27 October 1968 and 31 October 1971, when there was a reversion to the previous arrangement. Analysis of accident data for the first 2 years of the experiment, published by HMSO in October 1970, indicated that while there had been an increase in casualties in the morning, there had been a substantially greater decrease in casualties in the evening, with a total of around 2,500 fewer people killed and seriously injured during the first 2 winters of the experiment, at a time when about 1,000 people a day were killed or injured on the roads. However, the period coincided with the introduction of drink driving legislation, and the estimates were later modified downwards in 1989. The trial was the subject of a House of Commons debate on December 2, 1970 when, on a free vote, the House of Commons voted by 366 to 81 votes to end the experiment. Debates on reform. Campaigners, including the Royal Society for the Prevention of Accidents and environmental campaigners 1010, have made recommendations that British summer time be maintained during the winter months, and that a double summer time be applied to the current British summer time period, putting the UK 1 hour ahead of GMT during winter, and 2 hours ahead during summer. This proposal is referred to as single-double summer time, and would effectively mean the UK adopting the same time zone as European countries such as France, Germany, and mainland Spain. RO-SPA suggests this would reduce the number of accidents over this period as a result of the lighter evenings. RO-SPA have called for the 1968 Euro-71 trial to be repeated with modern evaluation methods. While 1010 generally agree with the safety benefits, their Lighter Later campaign focuses on the potential energy benefits of single-double summer time, arguing that the change could save almost 500,000 tons of CO2 each year, equivalent to taking 185,000 cars off the road permanently. These proposals are opposed by some farmers and other outdoor workers, and many residents of Scotland and Northern Ireland, as it would mean that, in Northern Britain and Northern Ireland, the winter sunrise would not occur until 10:00 or even later. However, in March 2010 the National Farmers Union indicated that it was not against single-double summertime and is in fact relatively neutral, with many farmers expressing a preference for the change. Others have proposed the abolition of BST entirely, favoring GMT all year round. Advocates cite in their support a lack of practical gains from the adjustment of time, arguing instead that changes in school and or business hours would achieve similar results without disrupting a scientific standard. Current statute and parliamentary attempts at change. The current arrangement is now defined by the Summertime Order 2002, which defines BST as the period beginning at 1 o'clock, Greenwich Mean Time, in the morning of the last Sunday in March and ending at 1 o'clock, Greenwich Mean Time, in the morning of the last Sunday in October. This period was stipulated by a directive of the European Parliament which required European countries to implement a common summer time. In part because of Britain's latitudinal length, debate emerges most years over the applicability of BST, and is the subject of parliamentary debate. In 2004, English MP Nigel Beard tabled a private member's bill in the House of Commons proposing that England and Wales should be able to determine their own time independently of Scotland and Northern Ireland. If it had been passed into law, this bill could have given the United Kingdom two different time zones for the first time since the abolition of Dublin Mean Time on August 23, 1916. In 2005, Lord Tanlaw introduced the Lighter Evenings Bill into the House of Lords, which would advance winter and summertime by 1 hour for a 3-year trial period at the discretion of devolved bodies, allowing Scotland and Northern Ireland the option not to take part. The proposal was opposed by the government. The bill received its second reading on March 24, 2006. However, it did not pass into law. The Local Government Association has also called for such a trial. The Daylight Saving Bill 2010 (Euro-12). The Daylight Saving Bill 2010 (Euro-12), a private member's bill by Conservative backbench MP Rebecca Harris, would have required the government to conduct an analysis of the potential costs and benefits of advancing time by 1 hour for all, or part of, the year. If the analysis found that a clock change would benefit the UK, the bill required that the government initiate a trial clock change to determine the full effects. In 2010, Prime Minister David Cameron stated he would seriously consider proposals in the bill. The bill was only likely to be passed with government support. Despite initial opposition in Scotland to the move, Cameron stated his preference was for the change to apply across the United Kingdom, stating "We are a United Kingdom. I want us to have a united time zone." A survey in late October 2010 of about 3,000 people for British energy firm NPOWER suggested that a narrow majority of Scots may be in favour of this change, though the Scottish government remained opposed. The bill was debated again in Parliament in November 2011 and sent to committee in December 2011. In January 2012, the bill was again debated on the floor out the House of Commons, where it was filibustered out of Parliament by opponents. Angus MacNeil, MP for Nowhatch Ilianna, argued that it would adversely affect the population of northern Scotland, while Jacob Rees-Mogg, MP for North East Somerset, tried to introduce an amendment to give Somerset its own time zone, 15 minutes behind London, in order to highlight what he saw as the absurdities of the bill. With all its allocated time used up, the bill could proceed no further through Parliament. See also, Time in the Republic of Ireland, Western European Summer Time, Lighting Up Time, references. Further reading, Britain may reconsider a switch in time zone, backers see a longer tourism season. Opponents say sunrise would come later. Philly.com. The Associated Press. October 30, 2011. Retrieved October 31, 2011. External links. 1. Archive of Summer Time Dates, National Physical Laboratory.